Morning. My name's Bond. James Bond. Miss,
Don't move, Mr. Bond.
Really 007.
Welcome everyone to the Really 007 podcast. I'm Tom Pickup and we're chatting with a man who has played not one, but two Bond henchmen. Yes, Terence Mountain is well known to Bond fans for his parts in On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Diamonds Are Forever. So yes, you can watch all our interviews on our YouTube channel and you can also listen to them and more on our iTunes and Spotify. So please subscribe and leave a lovely review if at all possible. We're also on social media, so we're on Facebook, X as it's now known, and Instagram, and you can find daily interaction between Bond fans all over the world. So we are delighted to welcome Terence to the show, and it is Terence, not Terry, is that right?
I don't mind what you call me, providing you get it right.
Get it right, okay, right. We'll stick to the more formal Terence, I think.
All right.
We've got to give you the respect you deserve.
All right.
So yeah, Terence, whereabouts are you from, and could you just tell us a bit about your upbringing?
Originally from Lincolnshire.
Oh, right.
Originally. And I left there when I was 18 years of age to do my national service.
Oof.
And I've never lived there since. I've traveled the world, but spent most of my working life in London.
So did you move to London then when you were fairly young, or was it for work?
Oh, yeah, when I was 28.
Oh, right, okay, right.
Yeah, I had 10 years traveling around the world, and then went to London when I was 28, and I got in the film industry.
Goodness me. So you went from travelling the world, which sounds very Bondian, to actually going into the Bond films, which is incredible.
Yeah, well, I'd been in the business 6 years before I got into the Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I'd worked with Roger. I would work with quite a few people over the years. I had 6 good years in television. Worked with Adam Faith and Budgie and Steve Forrest in different things. But then I got lucky and got in on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Well, I'm sure it wasn't just luck. Just tell us about some of those early roles, because we're really interested in those as well. You've been in loads of classic TV programmes, goodness me.
Well, when I applied to join the Film Artists Association in December 1964, they were casting the Sean Connery film, The Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So I went along for the audition, and because I'm ex-Army, short hair, look fit, they said, right, Terry, 7 o'clock Monday morning, MGM Studios, you're a film extra on The Hill.
Oh,
Wow.
Fantastic.
So I did a week on that, and then I got introduced to the casting director that was doing Gideon's Way, The Saint, different things that associated British Studios. And I did pretty well with them for about 6 years, and then I got an interview with Dyson Lovell, who was casting the on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, amazing. And how could you just talk us through this interview? Because it must have been was it nerve-wracking? Was it exciting? How did it go?
Well, the thing was, at that time, I was living in London, living from hand to mouth, and I was doing freelance chauffeuring.
Oh, right.
I was driving other people's cars to locations, to shopping or to race meetings or wherever they wanted to go. And I have this client who I was working with. One of his employees was getting married. So I had to go to Heathrow to pick his mother and father up. My audition for the Bond was 11 o'clock on the Friday morning. So I'm running around Heathrow, picking the client up, taking them to their hotel, and I was 2 hours late for the audition.
Oh, whoa.
So I drove the Rolls Royce. I put it right outside their offices. Went inside and I said, I've got an appointment with Mr. Dyson Lovell. And he was walking down the staircase at the time. And he looked at his watch and he said, Terry, it's 5 to 1. You're here. You better come up. So I went upstairs, sat down, we had a little chat about what he was looking for. The telephone went and he said to the person on the other end of the phone, I'll be with you at 1:15. He put the phone down. He said, Terry, thanks for coming. He said, I know what you've done. I've got your resume here. He said, I'll be in touch with your agent. And I said, fine. We went downstairs and he spoke to the receptionist. He said, I'll be back at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. I said, Mr. Lovell, I've got a car outside. Can I give you a lift? I opened the door. He saw the Rolls Royce. He said, Terry, would you? I said, yeah, sure. So he looked at the receptionist, looked at me. I opened the car door, the Rolls Royce. He jumped in and he said, Terry, he said, I want to go and pick some roses up from Moisey Stevens in Berkeley Square. I said, okay, I'll take you there, drop you off, and I'll wait for you. He said, would you? I said, yeah, sure. Drove down Curzon Street, Berkeley Square, dropped him off. He went into Moisey Stevens, the florist, came out, and he said, okay, Terry. I said, 54 Park Street. He said, yeah, that's where I want to go. Berkeley Square, Mount Street, Park Street. I dropped him off. He said, Terry, look, it's 1:15. I'm on time. He said, Terry, leave it with me. I've got to speak to your agent on Monday or Tuesday. We'll see what we can do for you.
Oh,
so on the Tuesday of the following week, I got a call from Gabby Howard, a very good agent I had at that time. She said, Terry, she said, Dyson Lovell likes you. He said, he wants you to go and meet Peter Hunt and Harry Saltzman next Friday at Pinewood Studios. And I said, fine, that's terrific. That's great news. So I went up to Pinewood, saw George Leach.
Yeah.
He took me in to see Peter Hunt, Dyson Lovell, and Harry Saltzman came in later on during the audition. So anyway, we had a little chat. Peter said to the casting director, he said, I like Terry. He said, I think he's ideal for one of the henchmen.
Brilliant.
Mm.
Right away.
Oh.
So the following week, I got a call from Gabby Howard. She said, Terry, they'd like to cast you as Raphael on the new Jamie Bond film. You've got a 10-week contract. And she told me the money. I couldn't believe my luck.
Oh, amazing.
Could not believe my luck. And I think it was that little bit of courtesy.
Yes.
Giving the casting director a lift. I think he remembered me and said, well, why not? Terry's fit. He looks the part. We'll cast him. And that's my little bit of good luck in life.
Well, you make your own luck, don't you? I mean, you were doing your job,
well,
your other job, and you were doing it well, and you probably saw the professionalism as well.
And And I mean, if any young, like, budding actors are wanting to do an audition, the key to the audition has got to be, firstly, show courtesy.
Yeah.
And secondly, turn up in a Rolls Royce.
Well, there we are. A little bit of good luck came my way. And we had a couple of months in Switzerland.
Oh, wow.
A month in Portugal. Work at the studio. And a little bit of good luck came my way. And then a couple of years later, I got a call from Bob Simmons. He said, Terry, he said, there's a part you could probably do on this film. He said, come and meet Guy Hamilton, and we'll see what we can do for you. So I went up to Pinewood, saw Bob. He took me onto the set. He said, Guy, this is Terry Mountain. He did very well with Peter on the last film. I think he's ideal for one of Blofeld's guards. So Guy looked at me. He said to Bob, Bob, if you're happy with Terry, that's fine. We'll use him. We'll cast him as one of the guards. So I got lucky with Diamonds Are Forever, working with Sean again, and it worked. It worked. It went terrific. Now, from me getting into the business to working in Diamonds Are Forever, that was an 8-year span.
Yeah.
Wow.
8 years, okay? Working consistently, meeting people, enjoying life, getting a little reputation as a good one-line actor, a bit part stuntman. So I decided to not do any stunt work anymore and concentrate on being a character actor that could do his own stunt work. But unfortunately, in our country, not like America, Americans would give you the opportunity to do both. Mm. But I tried to be an actor, and I was put down as a stuntman all the time.
Right.
So my acting career, it didn't happen, I'm afraid.
Well, you still amassed an amazing body of work and worked with some of the greats of British cinema. You can be very proud of that.
Terrific.
Yeah. So going back then, was it Harry then that you met, Harry Saltzman? Was Cubby not there either?
Oh, no. Cubby was on location somewhere.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I'd met Harry Saltzman a couple of times when he was when he was casting Funeral in Berlin.
Right.
I met him when they were casting that. So Harry Saltzman did know me to look at me anyway. When you're 28 years of age, 30, 32, you can do anything.
Yeah. There's no fear,
You
is
can
there?
do anything given the opportunity. And I consider myself very lucky. Like, for you to phone me up and ask me to do this voiceover, these films were 50 years ago, and I should be lucky as an actor for you to ask me to say a few words. Absolutely tremendous.
No.
I feel so lucky.
Terry, we're not just saying this, but we're just so lucky to talk to you. You are part of one of our all-time favourite films.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And you play a massive part in that. And we're just so thankful that you're just giving your time to just share your experience. And we know that many Bond fans will really appreciate that too.
Well, that's nice of you to say that. I did get a call from Anders Fee, who's George Lazenby's manager.
Yeah.
He went to Los Angeles last week to see George. And I had a little chat with George last Friday, I think, last week sometime. He's not feeling very good these days, and we had a little chat. I've got a walking stick now. I keep losing my bloody balance, would you believe? And Anders tells me that George is going through the same thing.
Oh, okay.
He's had a couple of falls, and to steady himself, he needs a walking stick. That being George is like he is, he doesn't want a walking stick. And I said, well, you tell George from me that you've just got to have it to give yourself some balance.
Yeah.
You're both hard men, though, aren't you? You're both rough and tumble guys. It's quite a big thing to be told you probably need to do that to help you.
Yeah. Anyway, did you know that Charles Hickson wrote a new On Her Majesty's Secret Service? And I've been invited to a private showing in London.
Oh, wow.
On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I've been invited to go along with Jenny Hanley.
Oh, yeah.
Sylvana was invited, but she's away on business. So I'll be going up there and seeing Anders, seeing AJ, and a few more of the Bond people.
Fantastic.
So it should be quite a good night out. They're going to show On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and they want me and a few people to say a few lines.
Amazing.
And there we are.
You went all the way to Piz Gloria, didn't you, for the 50th anniversary? I mean, that must have been incredible.
We did. A terrific event. Yeah, a terrific event. That was 4 years ago. We flew to Frankfurt, picked George up and all his entourage, flew to Portugal, and we had a minibus waiting for us. Took us to the Eiger Hotel, the hotel in Estoril.
Oh.
And we had a fantastic 4 days there. And then from there we flew to Piz Gloria.
Like you do.
It was a terrific event. It really was a great event.
And obviously, you were in both those scenes. You were at Estoril in the pre-title sequence, and you were in Piz Gloria at the end on the attack on Piz Gloria.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, we'd just love to hear about... Firstly, let's start with the pre-title sequence, because it is such a visceral, brutal fight between George and yourself. I mean, me personally, it's the most brutal fight up to that point in the Bond series. And we'd just love you to tell the stories about how you two went about it, and obviously reenacting it on the beach on the 50th anniversary as well.
Well, I can honestly tell you that we were in Pinewood Studios, and we were doing where we stick James Bond up in the hotel in Portugal, put him into the Rolls Royce, and take him to Draco's office, which was done in the studio. We did that first.
Right.
And then we did that little bit of pushing and shoving where 007 knocked us all out and barged into Draco's office. So we did that, and Peter said to the three of us, he said, okay, boys, he said, I'm more than pleased with what we've done. I'll see you in 3 weeks' time when we go to Portugal. I said, Peter, that opening fight scene, who's doing that for you? He said, well, I haven't cast it yet. I'm still seeing people. I said, Peter, I would like to do that for you.
Go on,
Would you consider me? He said, Terry, he said, look, I've got people to see. He said, leave it with me and we'll see what we can do.
That's amazing.
So we got to Portugal, and George he said, Terry, he said, Peter wants you to do the opening fight scene. I thought, well, how lucky can you be
Yeah.
to do this?
Oh,
Really?
my word.
And that's
Now-
the first time you see George Lazenby as Bond, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. George Lazenby, I thought it was a terrific 007.
we
He
do too.
certainly was.
Absolutely.
I thought his attitude, I thought his mannerisms, I thought his physical work was absolutely first class. And while we were doing that scene, it was April 1960, 69. And it was cold. It was freezing cold. It really was cold. So we're in the sea, and Peter pulled us both out. He used his lights and his cameras further out of the water. And George said, look, Terry's lips are blue. He's absolutely freezing cold in there.
Wow.
Can't you get two stuntmen to do this? So George and Peter went away to Cubby Broccoli. They had a little discussion. Peter called the prop man over. The prop man ran away, and he came back with 2 bottles of cognac, 2 bottles of Portuguese brandy.
Oh, fantastic.
Superb.
So Peter said, George, that's for you. Terry, that's for you. Now go and have a real good pull.
Yeah.
That will do you the world of good. A real good pull. So George looked at me. We had a real good drink. Looked at each other, had a laugh. So Peter said, okay, you two, have one more big good drink. One more. Get in the sea and do your stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see some action and knock fuck out of each other. So George looked at me and we went back in the sea.
Now get up. Put your hands behind your head. Move. Get in. Lie down.
And a terrific athlete.
Yeah.
A real terrific, he would have been a terrific middleweight fighter.
Yes,
Yeah.
you would. Yeah.
And fortunately, he didn't clip me and I didn't clip him.
Right.
Fortunately. And it worked. I'm more than pleased with that little scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of.
More than pleased with it.
It looks like something from a modern film in a way. You know, the editing style,
Yes.
the choreography. And was
Yeah.
Peter largely responsible for that? Peter Hunt.
George Leach was the fight
George Leach,
arranger.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then George and I put our little bits and pieces into it.
Yeah.
And it worked. It worked, I'm pleased to say.
I mean, the fight is obviously the main thing about it, but there's so many like icing on the cake with that scene. I mean, you've got the beautiful setting with the sunset in the background and the camera work. You've got the sound design. You can feel and hear every punch. And then you've got John Barry's score in the
Yeah,
background. I mean, you have
Yeah.
got one of the all-time greatest pre-title sequences
Definitely.
there.
This never happened to the other fella.
Well, I'm flattered. I'm very pleased that you like my work.
Of course we do. Of
Oh,
course we do, Terry.
we love it.
But George was absolutely tremendous. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sorry he didn't carry on. I really am. We're still in contact now. We speak quite often. We speak here one or two times a year. He's a hell of a decent chap.
That's really good to hear. And like you say, it was a shame it didn't work out for him because you've seen over the years, haven't you, how amazing the reputation of the film is now. And if it was like that at the time, he definitely would have continued.
Oh, super.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you have any more stories about offset with him and maybe drinking some more cognac together or partying or anything like that?
Well, we did go to a couple of parties and we did upset a few people, but I can only tell you face to face, not over the top.
No, that's fine. Don't worry.
Action. This is John Glenn. You're listening to 007 Podcast.
Really 007.
Really 007.
Getting back to Diamonds Are Forever, Bob phoned me up and he said, Terry, come and meet Guy Hamilton. I'm sure that you'd be ideal for one of the guards. So I went up to Pinewood and saw Guy, and Guy said, if you're happy with Terry, that's fine, let's use him. So while we're on the set, Guy called me and my other good pal, George Cooper, the other guard. He called us both over. He said, George, he said, say this after me. Hold it.
Oh, yeah.
Get your hands up.
Yes.
So George was a real cockney, a terrific stuntman, terrific actor. George, hold it. Get your hands up. So Guy said, terrific. So he said, Terry, he said, let me hear you say it. Hold it. Get your hands up. But I want to hear it, Terry. Now, you could have dropped a pin on the set. It was that quiet. So I said, hold it. Get your hands up. So Sean was not far away from me with his back to me. He turned around. He said, who the fuck was that? Guy said, Terry, you can say the line.
Yeah, you did it again. You did brilliantly. So for both those scenes, you got some quite a decent lot of dialogue at the start of On Her Majesty's, and then you get this line here. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Making mud pies, 007. He would have been me in a matter of days if you'd given the poor fellow a chance. Such a pity. I was dying to see how the operation turned out. Get his gun.
Hold it! Get your hands up.
Welcome to hell, Blofeld.
But when we did that week at Pinewood, and then they left to go to America for 3 months.
Yeah.
So George and I and a couple of the stunt boys are working on that pre-sight, that title scene. We were the only guys to work on Diamonds Are Forever. We were so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Can I ask, please? Because obviously, you know, being in On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Diamonds Are Forever, you're pretty much one of the only people who is in both those films where there's not much continuation in a lot of ways. You've obviously got George to Sean. There's not much mention of about Tracy's death in Diamonds Are Forever. Was there any kind? And obviously, you're in the last scene at the wedding. And then you're in the pre-title sequence at Diamonds Are Forever.
That's right.
Was there any discussion that this is a continuation? Was this, or was it a deliberate, no, this is completely separate, we're not really going to reference the previous film?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I couldn't say. But that wedding sequence, when we that was the first scene we did when we got to Portugal.
Your Royal Highnesses, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, the toast is the bride and bridegroom, Mr. and Mrs. James Bond.
Wow.
Right.
We were 4 days working on that.
Oh.
And I'm running around there. You've probably seen me a dozen times in that scene.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
With all your crew,
Yeah.
with Tucson and Shay Shay and
Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi, sorry,
Yeah,
apologies.
yeah.
Yeah, that's from the top.
Yes,
It's Chi-Chi,
super,
not Shay
absolutely.
Shay.
Yeah. You seem to be
Great.
ushers.
Have you been to Portugal, to the hotel?
I haven't, no. It's definitely on my to-do list. Tom went to Piz Gloria last year, though, didn't you?
I did with my
That's
wife.
right, yeah.
It was at the height of summer, though, so there was barely any snow, so it felt quite odd.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was brilliant, though. Absolutely beautiful.
Well, I think Murren is heaven on earth.
It is.
I think it's super.
The cable cars
But
are just
but
fantastic.
if you get the opportunity to go to Portugal
Yeah.
where we did the location there, tremendous, the Guincho Beach and the hotel, tremendous attitude.
Well, that's another thing, isn't it? Some actors, they never get to leave Pinewood. When you've come in and you've gone to two of the most beautiful places in the world.
Super.
Yeah.
So lucky.
Yeah.
So lucky. Yeah.
So you were telling us as well, when I previously spoke to you, about you going to the dinner with Joanna Lumley. Could you just tell us about that, how you got on with the people?
Yeah. Jeff Cheshire, a very good pal of mine. He, a very good Shakespearean actor, terrific character.
Did Jeff play Tucson in the film, did he? Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah,
he came up to me in Piz Gloria at the Eiger Hotel. He said, Terry, he said, what are you doing later? I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, Joanne and Silvana would like to have you to join us for dinner.
Oh.
I said, well, that's terrific. That'd be great. Yeah, why not? So it was one of those nights where everybody turned up. We had a terrific table at the Eiger Hotel, and everybody wanted to get onto our table. And from that day on, me and Silvana are big mates.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I see Joanne quite often over the years. We're still palsy. She's done exceptionally well.
Yeah, definitely.
What a lovely girl. What a lovely human being.
Oh.
In fact, if I may say so, all those girls, those Bond girls in Piz Gloria, they were all terrific girls.
Yeah.
They really were. They were professional models, actresses. They behaved themselves. And they were all very, all sociable, terrific ladies, they all were. And our good friend, Diane, she's not with us anymore. Yeah, she was terrific as well. She was a lovely actress, a lovely human being, yeah.
For me, Diana Rigg's character is the best Bond girl, bar none, in the whole series.
Oh, really? Yeah?
Yeah, I think she's absolutely phenomenal. She is Bond's true love for me.
Yeah, well, there's some terrific character actors in that film.
Yeah,
They really are.
Yeah, the little girl that played the Lancashire girl.
Yeah.
Ruby Bartlett.
Yeah.
That's from where we live, near us, that, in Manchester.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
From Morecambe Bay.
I thought she was a terrific actress, a terrific character.
Yeah.
And, 50-odd years ago, that film, and you're talking about me 50 years ago. I can't believe my luck. Really, I can't believe my luck.
But there's so many events on, aren't there? Like I saw you at the HMS Belfast for the 007 GB thing for John Glenn. You know,
how did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy it?
I did. I thought it was fantastic. You can see the interview on YouTube, actually. John gave a great interview with David Zaritsky. Yeah. And it was just fantastic to just have a chat with him, have a drink with some of the other actors, and everyone was so friendly. I was very impressed.
Did you see the other interview with me and Blair Ballard?
Yes, I did, because I now know Blair.
Good interview.
Yeah, it was a good interview, yeah. And Silvana, of course, was there as well from your film.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she loves to get hold of my arm, and she loves to rub herself up against me. And Rosamund's right next to me.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Poor old Robert. I spoke to Robert the other day. I did.
Okay, right, yeah.
But great fun, terrific fun, and so lucky to be invited.
Well, of course.
And my lady friend comes from Sweden. She came over from Stockholm.
Oh, wow.
She stayed at the Hilton Hotel, and she's been to quite a few of the Bond events. But she thought that was a terrific event.
Yeah, it was.
A lot of people there, but a terrific event.
Yeah, and it was the first one they did. You know, it was the first sort of gala dinner they did. So it was a pretty pretty good swan. Yeah, and the Hilton afterwards, that was good fun too. So it was a cracking night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And John Glenn, while we mentioned John Glenn,
Johnny Glenn, I remember John Glenn, second unit director, editor with On Her Majesty's.
Yeah.
When he was in his 30s, 6'3" and looking the part. Yeah. I remember him so well. Yeah.
So was he quite involved in any of the scenes that you were in?
No, he was doing second unit directing, and I was with the main unit.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So Peter Hunt, this was his one and only film directing, and we think he was brilliant.
I'm sorry to say, I thought he did a terrific job. A great actor's director.
Right.
Mr. Bond?
Yeah?
You've lost something.
Really?
We'll give it to you outside.
Why not? Perhaps we can make up a foursome. You thought of everything. What a lovely surprise, our meeting again so soon. Thank you. And where's the party this time?
You have an appointment.
Business or pleasure? Mystery tour, eh? I think we'd all enjoy it more without that.
Yeah, there's a couple of little things that I put into my character.
Right.
When we drove and took Bond to Draco's office, and we stopped, and I jumped out of the Rolls Royce. I said to Peter, when I get out of the Rolls Royce, can I stand on the other side of the door, just in case Bond pushes out of the way? He said, yeah, sure, Terry, let's see what you can do. Just give me something to work into. And then when we were taking Bond into Draco's office, I said to Peter, George, is it okay if I give you a couple of pushes?
Yes.
Just to let you know that I'm there with a gun. So Peter said, Terry, let's see it. Let's see what we can do. George said, yeah, let's do it. So those little bits and pieces that I put into that character.
Oh.
And Peter was like that. He liked to see what you're going to give him, what he can cut into.
Brilliant.
And like I said, more than lucky. I went from sharing an apartment. 9 months later, I built my own place in Notting Hill Gate.
Oh, wow.
With On Her Majesty's Secret Service money.
It did wonders for your career, and it did wonders for your bank balance then, obviously.
What a bit of good luck, yeah. What a bit of good luck.
Oh, I think you're playing it down a bit, Terry. Obviously, they saw something in you, these people, and they remembered you. And not only that, of course, they brought you back, didn't they, for Diamonds? And that was a different director as well. So
Guy Hamilton, tremendous. I thought his Goldfinger was tremendous.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, fantastic.
I thought the casting, the locations, the characters, but I still like our background music in our film.
Yes, it's the best music of the series.
I still like On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I'm a big Bond fan. I love our music. I play it all the time.
Same.
Brilliant. It is fantastic, isn't it? And both those films have, particularly On Her Majesty's, has some of the most memorable music.
Oh, tremendous.
For your fight.
Yeah, tremendous.
For your fight on the beach, it's got that terrific action music. And yeah.
I still love it. It's absolutely brilliant.
And John Barry, I mean, you're working with arguably the greatest film composer, in my opinion. You're working with the best people in the world here, Terry. It's fantastic for you.
Yeah, well, I'm only sorry that Peter didn't carry on, and I'm sorry that George didn't carry on. I might have got some more work out of, I don't know.
Well, no, there were plans for a direct continuation, so I think you definitely would have been in the sequel, because I think Draco would have helped Bond get revenge on Blofeld, I would have thought.
Yeah.
That would have been a great film we'd all love to have seen.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So you like action movies, and you love the stars who perform their own stunts, right? Okay, stop. That's not what this show is. We visit movies from the archive and explore the stunt performer's role in creating the magic you see on screen. We take a deep dive into the stunt itself and break it down so you can better understand how important the stunt performers are to big and small screen productions. Join me, John Orty, every Wednesday for the podcast and every Friday for the YouTube episode. Action movie secrets every week when we go behind the stunts. Find it wherever you find your podcasts.
Can I ask about the Piz Gloria scene? Because obviously, you know, the attack on Piz Gloria with the helicopters, that is pinnacle Bond. You've got the Bond theme going on in the background, and you've got action after action. That must have been so fun to shoot.
I was bodyguarding Draco.
Yeah, you were, yeah.
With George in the helicopter. So George was out first. I was the second out. Draco was the third out, and then half a dozen stunt boys were after me.
Yes.
My action was to the left of Piz Gloria. There was 5 cameras.
Yeah.
There was 2 to my left. The main camera where Tracy and the Henchman were fighting.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was 2 cameras on the other side of Piz Gloria. So my action was, I had 2 hand grenades, a pistol, and my action was to go with George into the main building. So I'm firing away, throwing the hand grenades. Stunt boys are getting blown up and doing their falls. So George is on the floor, machine gunning.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And he said, Terry, quick, the bloke in front of you, So I kind of half turned to my right, and there's a guy there with a Blofeld uniform and a big machine gun, and he was firing, and he would have killed everybody. He had his back to the main camera.
Right.
So I ran up to him, I kicked the gun out of his hand, grabbed him, turned him so the main camera could see what I was doing, and I shot him.
Oh.
So he stood there looking at me, and I said, "You're dead, you cunt! Get down, you're dead!" So he still stood there, so I thumped him with the gun twice and split his head wide open.
It's like a play fight, this.
So with all the snow and all the wind and all the helicopters turning around, Peter came running out. He said, "Stop! Who is this bloke? Where did he come from? Frank, who is he?" Into the underbuild, where all the armorers were and the medical people and he was one of the filmmakers, and when he heard all the excitement, he decided to come in and get involved in the action.
Oh, wow.
He wasn't part of the action.
Oh, dear me.
So anyway, there's blood everywhere, and George is looking at me. And to try and stop the action, it wasn't just stop. It was stop everybody.
Right.
I mean, there was 3 helicopters, all the stunt boys doing their bit. And those guys were pretty handy boys, ex-military, could handle situations. So anyway, there's blood everywhere, and this guy was on the floor holding his head. I said, "I'm sorry, Peter." I just got carried away by that. He said, "Terry, don't worry about it." Terry said, "Your action was perfect, but there's no way we could use this. He would have killed everybody." He said, "Frank, get him out of my sight."
Right.
He annoys me. He sports a bloody good shot. So George he's looking at me with it. Anyway, 2 hours later, they took us away in the helicopters. We refueled, reloaded, and like 3 or 4 hours later, we did the shot again.
Yeah.
We did. While we were in Piz Gloria 4 years ago, George looked at me. He said, "Terry," "make sure that guard is not looking for you." The guard that you thumped 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I said, "George, don't worry about that." I said, "I'm looking for him anyway."
Yeah. You take care of him.
But there we are. These things do happen when you're making films, and you can easily I get carried away very quickly. I must be a real method actor.
I was going to say, method actor.
I play the part of real.
Yeah.
But terrific scene, terrific action.
Is. Yeah.
Everybody knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
All the stunt boys were tuned in, ex-paratroopers, ex-Navy, ex-RAF. They could handle weapons.
Cool.
They used to assault courses. And we were rearing to go. We were ready for the action, we were. And then when we got inside and Diane Reed was fighting Yuri Borienko.
Yeah.
Terrific guy. I've known Yuri quite a while before the Bond. Well, it all worked. We had a great time and everybody was well paid. And when you're young and you're working in a Bond film, a James Bond film, and you're playing a specific part, it's good for the ego. It's good for the boost. It's a real good boost. Really is.
And then you think, oh, well, it can't get any better. And then can you just do this scene with Sean? Can you?
It's so good.
It's not bad, is it? Not a bad follow-up.
You can hear loads of our other episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and our YouTube channel, where we have interviews, special episodes, and reviews of all the Bond films. Simply search Really 007 Pod, and you should find loads of weird and wonderful content.
Remember, you're only president for life.
So when we were in Portugal 4 years ago, we're on the beach, and they all wanted to see me and George. Get your hands up, Mr. Bond. They all wanted to see that. You probably saw bits and pieces of it.
Pictures of it,
on shots. So the American boys were, come on, you two, stop playing about. Let's see some real action. and they said a few bits and pieces. I said, hey, you. I said, don't you worry about that. I could take him 50 years ago, and I could take him now for what he's doing. So George looked at me, he said, oh, yeah? He said, now, do you want to try? I mean, the repartee between the two of us.
So good.
And the Americans, they love all that nonsense.
Yeah.
And everybody was there taking with the cameras, and they were all involved in the scene, and terrific atmosphere. It really was a terrific part of my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if you get to Portugal, you've got to go to Guincho Beach and see where we did the opening scene.
Yeah, we will.
I did say this to you previously, but this film is like one of the most important films in my life. I mean, I got.
Oh, really?
Oh, I mean, I got married to this song, to We Have All the Time in the World.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great stuff.
I genuinely, absolutely love this film. My brother has never been the biggest fan of this film, and I have defended this film for 35 years of my life to him.
Really?
And I can't wait for him to just hear this story after story about just how great this film is, because for me to talk to someone who's been in this film and plays a pivotal part is such a big privilege.
It is, yeah.
And you're the first person we've talked to who's been involved in this film, Terry.
Oh, really?
And we thank you so much for your time with it, because it means, genuinely, to me, as a Bond fan, it means so much to me, so thank you. I think we're hoping to, the whole of our podcast, to actually have a gathering where we watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service as a Christmas celebration as well. There's a film student he's just done a fan edit of the film. It's one of his favourite films, and he's just done a few edits and stuff, tweaked it, and he's asked us to have a look at it. So we're going to have a watch of it and just see what he's done. So, it's just great that there's so much fandom for this film, even, nearly 60 years on now.
That's right. I just turned 87, haven't I?
Really? Dear my word.
Unbelievable.
Just turned 87.
Wow.
You're doing very well,
still,
aren't you?
Still travelling, still getting around, and still doing this, that, and the other.
Keep going. I mean, like, John Glenn is the same. He's in his 90s, isn't he?
John is 92, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What a guy.
There's only George and myself and John Glenn around.
Yes. Yeah. Of the lads. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna laugh about it when everybody's popped off.
Yeah. The hard men. Yeah.
And we're still eating out on it. We are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, my friends, you take care.
Thank you so much, Terry.
And speak to you soon, yeah.
Legend. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Bye-bye.